سلام، من سانaz mazinani هستم در گالری استیون بالجر توی تورنتو و میخواستم درباره کارم Frames of the Visible صحبت کنم. Frames of the Visible is an exhibition of photographs here as part of Contact with Stephen Balger Gallery, and the works comprise images found online that bring the forms together to question our understanding of photography, the juxtapositions that we make in daily life, and use Islamic ornamentation or patterns that you might see in Iranian art and culture in order to create a dialogue between the relationships that are going on in the West and the East, and media in particular. These two pieces come from an archive of photographs taken from the Department of Defense. Basically, during the 1991 Gulf War, the first Bush one, made it illegal to have any images of soldiers who had been wounded or who had died in battle coming back to the US. So there was no images of the coffins draped in flags coming back. And so in 2004, there was a university professor who put in a request through the Freedom of Information Act to release these photographs that were being taken. And when the Department of Defense finally released these photographs, they redacted it. So what they did was they blanked out the faces, the insignia, any information that would give power to the photograph. And so these photographs then could not be reprinted in media. And I was really interested in figuring out how one can use these photographs and speak to this lack of information and this lack of acknowledgement of the lost lives because of conflict and war. This particular piece is titled Redacted March, and you can see the dark spots throughout the work are actually blackened spaces where information is pulled out so that the photographs cannot be reprinted. However, I wanted to use these photographs to make a new work to talk about how photography is an important element in our lives, how it allows us to understand the world that we live in, and how the photograph can inform us at the same time about what conflict and war can mean. I have titled this piece Living with War, and it includes images of George Bush and Clinton, who stayed in the presidency for 8 years. And the article was actually from the New York Times and spoke about how American presidents age and their hair grays throughout their presidency. However, the article went on to say that American presidents tend to live 10 years longer than the average American man. And I found that really fascinating. And so I wanted to think about how the body and the symbolism of war and conflict can be reflected in photography to speak to how our bodies are engaged in that experience. I can to speak also a little bit about my process, in that I take images from online and use them to repeat to create these forms so that they speak about repetition and images as they encompass and take on more value or whatnot in our space. خیلی ممنون و امیدوارم که بتونین بیاین و این شو رو ببینین. It will be on till June at the Stephen Balger Gallery on Queen Street in the Art and Design District, Queen West.